Hello, y'all. It's 2:49 p.m. So, wow. I don't know if that's another fly or if I thought I killed that the other fly. Oh man. So, here's my spray bottle that I use right here, and this white powder was from the gloves. When I clean up and stuff. So with my OCD, I guess the symptoms must have flared up, or maybe because of the nature of my job, have to clean everything I touch. Remember, I told y'all about the when if toilet water splash on me or something like that, and so I take alcohol and put it in this 70% alcohol and put it in the in a spray bottle and spray and sanitize, So I thought I killed a fly, and the 70%, I guess it's enough to get everything clean, or sanitized, but 91%. I feel more secure with that, but the thing is, 91% alcohol will mess up certain surfaces and stuff. So that's why I don't use the the 91% alcohol much anymore. But I still feel like I need it, and every now and then I'll use it. But I've been using the regular spray rubbing just alcohol on my hands. And it's I use it as hand sanitizer or whatever part of my body. Or I know it's still a struggle with my OCD and stuff, but anyway, since I gotta clock out, I'm just resting for a while, and it was kind of a light day today, so I it wasn't that light. It was heavier than usual, but the reason it was lighter than what I was expecting, but since yesterday was 4th of July. But so this video I want to talk about when you try to apologize, when you, the victim, try to apologize or make a truce with the narcissistic abuser. And I got the carpet turned down, so I'm still at work, so I didn't want, everything, how the perps are. But anyway, when you try to, when it's like if you try to make a truce with, or you feel like the anger and animosity or the grudge or the tension you have with the narcissistic abuser. It seems like I read that if you have complex PTSD or PTSD from narcissistic abuse and always criticize and abuse and treat it mean and stuff, you always be the one to overly apologize or feel like you gotta rationalize or explain everything you do. And other people be like, well, you don't need to be sorry, or why are you always apologizing so much or whatever. But like you have a heated altercation with the narcissistic abuser when they start first. They start first and they do you wrong, and then they hold a grudge against you. Will seem like an eternity, and then you feel like you don't want that continued anger, and you feel like you would like to clear the grudge, and then it seems like you got to be the first one to go and apologize. And they gleefully, it makes them feel bad. It makes them feel bigger when it strokes their narcissistic ego. When you when you go and apologize to them first, and some of them, they'll basically want you to fuck off, and they'll still be grudging against you, for an even longer period of time. They just don't want to talk to you. They want nothing to do with you. But then they're still doing passive aggressive stuff, thinking they're punishing you with the silent treatment and doing stuff like they're all mad at you for years, and then they get mad and blow up, and then they give you a silent treatment and stuff, and do passive aggressive, petty, subtle kind of bullying, that they think you wouldn't catch on, but you notice that they're doing some subtle, childish, passive aggressive kind of bullying while simultaneously giving you the silent treatment. And then, some of them don't even give you a chance to try to, apologize, or it's like the victim is always the one gotta apologize and be sorry. But then other narcissistic abusers, they make it like as if it strokes their ego that you're the one who's apologized to them. And then after they wronged you, and and you feel ashamed, and everybody blames you, all they're flying monkeys, everything. And then when you go and apologize to the narc, it's supposed to be like false proof that you were in the wrong or that you were guilty, because you were apologized. But a lot of times, if you try to apologize because you're tired of the unwanted, intrusive thoughts, or tired of being mad, and tired of this, tired of that, whatever, and so then they'll gleefully perk up and be like, PERK, not perk, but I'm saying PERK, perk up, and being like, they blossom, and then being like, they blossom and perk up like a flower in the spring, and be like, oh, all is forgiven, or I forgive you, or I accept your apology. Oh, it wasn't nothing, no big deal. It was just simple. I was just telling you to just do this, or I was just or they'll reverse it on you and make it like as if you were the one who made a big deal out of a situation that caused the argument. And then if they say, oh, I forgive you, and then they turn around and say, oh, it wasn't that simple. I mean, oh, it was just very simple. It wasn't that difficult, or whatever. It was no big deal. And then they turn around and say, you the one that made a big deal. And then you'll be like, but no, and then when you try to go to explain yourself, then y'all get into an argument again, and then the argument turned out to be even worse and more nasty and escalate. And back to them trying to threaten to get you locked up in a mental institution or jail or something like that. And say you're sick, crazy, and need help, and everything, and then another person would be like, well, you a fool. You shouldn't have tried to go and associate with that person anyway. That he hurt you the first time will make you think he ain't gonna hurt you the next time, or whatever. So then you feel like you don't have no support, and then you having an emotional meltdown and stuff like that, So or sometimes, if they say they forgive you, but they don't apologize on their part. And if people say, well, it takes two to tango, or you just as guilty as he is, or whatever. But if on their part, they'll be like, oh, I forgive you, rather than being like, well, rather than things being a two-way street, they don't be like, well, I apologize too, because I was wrong too, and I overreacted too, or something like that. It's everything got to be one-sided. And then nowadays, when resolving conflict, like a person in higher authority would be like, oh, well, you two just stay away from each other. But they don't, back then there was such thing as mediator, or peer mediator, or mediation, or conflict resolution and stuff like that. And now everybody goes the lazy way and say, oh, we just stay away from each other, rather than talking out the problems at church, at school, at work, at whatever social club or whatever, But back then people used to take the time out to talk out and work out conflict, and even in family situations, trying to talk and work things out, and then come to a resolution, and then make a truce, and then both of y'all are able to, you and the person or the people who you had a situation with, end up but now everybody talks about toxicity and narcissism and everything, but it seems like society is perpetuating narcissistic abuse and tolerating. It's like, because narcissistic abuse is considered a social norm nowadays. So if you're not an arrogant asshole walking around nowadays, something's wrong with you, or you're a weirdo and stuff like that. So I'm, talk my last few minutes just sitting down, resting my painful feet. So it's time for me to clock out and go home. And I'll see y'all later.